Hey, Luke here with Average Optimize, and for this week's three things, we're going to go over Malcolm Gladwell's The Tipping Point. There's going to be three parts: a summary, the things I learned, and then the conclusion. It's all transcribed below on the website. There are links to the website, but let's get right into it, starting with the summary. This book was written by Malcolm Gladwell. Seth Godin recommended it in one of his lectures, so I had to read it. Love Seth Godin. This book is all about understanding and manipulating the minutia of everyday life to make big differences. Spelled that wrong. He goes into the different little things and uses anecdotes and examples of how to use these under-the-surface principles. He uses insight, case studies, and psychology to describe each principle. Pretty short intro or summary because I'm going to get into the three things. Three things I learned. There were 7 or so principles in this book, but these 3 were my favorite. The 3 people of a market epidemic. This is the first thing. This section was the most interesting one for me, which is saying a lot because this whole book was ultra interesting. This section was about the most influential people for spreading a market epidemic. There are 3 types of people that catapult a market epidemic. I've been having trouble saying that word all day. Market epidemic. They are connectors, mavens, and salesmen. The connectors are the people that spread the word. These are the people that are friends with everybody. They know all kinds of people. They are the kind of people that can strike up an interesting conversation with anybody. They travel and experienced and are well liked, and people look up to them. When a connector is interested in something, people listen. If you get the approval from a connector, your idea/product will reach many ears. Mavens are people that gather knowledge. These people catalog and memorize all the aspects of their chosen market. These are the people you come to with your questions about their chosen market. Say there's a car maven, and you say you're looking to get a new car. You will talk with them and go through their questions, and this person will know exactly what is right for you by matching you to the aspect of the car market that they so deeply understand. Get the approval of a maven, and your idea/product will be well received by those who seek them out. Salesmen are persuaders. They are just who you think they are. Salesmen. They study the cues and subtleties of persuasion, which Malcolm Gladwell calls cultural microrhythms. These cues can be anything from facial expressions and head nods to speech tones and pauses. This sense of persuasion can come naturally or be studied. Get the approval of a salesman and convince and persuade people to buy your idea/product. I don't do this chapter justice, because you'll see what I mean if you get the book and read it. Gladwell really cements the concepts of these types of people with great anecdotes, and if anything, it's super interesting. The next thing, context. This section was about the power of context. In the first part of this section, he goes into what is known as the broken windows theory. The example he gives was that crime was rampant in Bratton, New York City, in the city Bratton of New York. The officials issued policy after policy to keep people from breaking the law so often. Gladwell points out here that the crime was situational. When people saw the graffiti and beaten down property, they stopped caring about the environment because they saw that nobody else cared about it. It was the context of the situation. When the new guy in charge started cleaning up the graffiti and replacing the windows, the crime rate dove down. The environment changed, so the situational context changed, so the people changed. That was really cool section. I mean, he really brings a lot of insight to these things that people just don't think about. Third thing, example setting. Having an excuse to do something. And you'll see what I mean. Here you go. Maddie's crazy. This part describes how when people see someone else do something out of place, they are more likely to do it. Gladwell uses an example here of jaywalking. If you are waiting to see the little green walking signal before you cross the street, but see someone jaywalk past you, you're much more likely to jaywalk yourself. He also brings up a crazy anecdote of the power of example, using the suicide rates a while back in Micronesia. Because one day, a popular teenage figure in Micronesia killed himself over something trivial, like a breakup. And suddenly, all these teenagers started killing themselves over these trivial matters. One got in a fight with his parents and killed himself. Others would have breakups and kill themselves. And because of the popularity of this figure, the example of his trivial killing himself was spread to so many people. And the people who could associate with him, teenage boys, like his peers, saw his example, and suddenly suicide was commonplace. It's just the power of the examples. And this, I mean, all of these concepts were great, but I had to pick 3. And those are my favorites. But in conclusion, I give it 5 stars. I love this book. Not only did it give me a better understanding of the small things that are relevant to spreading ideas, but it was super interesting the whole way through and gave me a different take on the world around me. And even if you have no plans to use the different principles in this book, I would still recommend it to you. There are lots of really cool stories that get you thinking about how layered and complex life is. Oh no. But anyway, I got links, you know, just like normal. So click those links if you want to check the book out. Audible, free trial. I got the audio version to click on. I got the book, the physical copy to click on. So if you want to read it and check those out, click those links. I'll get a commission too, so that's pretty good. And thanks anyway, and we will not thanks anyway. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next week. Bye.